everybody. Welcome back to day 5 of 5-minute self-care resets. So today is the big one. Today is all about mom guilt. And the reason why I'm addressing mom guilt right now is because mom guilt really keeps us stuck in patterns of, well, if I go get a massage, then I won't be able to spend time with my kiddos. Or like if I work one more hour, then I won't be home can make dinner for everybody and my husband will have to be responsible for it. Or if I go out with the girls, then I won't be able to put my kids to sleep or whatever that is, right? Like if I spend time on myself, it means I'm a bad mom, right? And we may not be saying that specifically out loud, but that's what ends up being created in our nervous system because we're told and we are raised to believe that us women are supposed to be sacrificing ourselves for our family at the cost of our health and our well-being and our individuality and our own personal power and so much more than that. So I just want to invite you into this practice of interrupting mom guilt. And I'm going to give you a couple of different tools that you can use. So whenever you start to feel this, we're going to go into these practices and it's going to help shift your energy and help shift some of the subconscious patterning and hopefully allow you to do the things that you need to do so that you can show up fully and embrace your own passions and your own individuality while raising thriving children and having an amazing relationship with your partner, whoever that might be, or by yourself. So I want to take a moment to just have you get settled in, and we're going to go into a few practices. This one's going to be a little bit of a bigger practice than a couple of the other days. So if you want to, you can have some paper and pen to write some of these things out, and we'll go ahead and pause this video to get yourself ready, and then we'll get started in just a second. So one of the things that can be incredibly helpful for us breaking out of old patterns and dealing with emotional upsets in different ways is really coming to meet ourselves exactly where we are without trying to change anything. And I know that sounds paradoxical, but the reality is that when we accept what's happening, then it has room to change. Because if we shame or guilt ourselves into something, we're going to lock up, we're going to get defensive. And because it's threatening us in one way or another. So what we need to do is openly embrace and say, I'm here and you don't have to necessarily change. And we're going to do that towards ourselves, just as if we would do it to our kids. Okay. So that's where we want to be at. We want to be in this open, receptive thing and say, I notice I'm feeling guilty, right? I'm having a thought about I'm a bad mother because XYZ, right? And so there are a couple key things that I want you to be aware of in that statement. I'm having a thought that, or I'm experiencing a feeling of, is different than I am a bad mother, right? Or it's different than I feel guilty, or I have guilt, or I am guilty, or I'm a bad parent, or whatever. Like switching that verbalization will help change a lot of things. Okay, so just number one, that part. And so I want to start with a practice, and we're going to use bilateral stimulation to help our conscious brain turn off a little bit so that our subconscious brain can work in the background, accepting these new beliefs and accepting these new practices around mom guilt and taking time for ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of different options for what type of bilateral stimulation you can do. You can kind of be creative with this depending on what you want, but there's a couple of ones that work pretty well. So I like butterfly tapping. And because we are being gentle with ourselves here, we're not really trying to like find anything out. We're just trying to settle the nervous system. We want to do nice, like consistent, but slow paced tapping. So dun, 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 dun. Okay. You can tap on your thighs, right? So I often tap, you can tap on your thighs. You can tap under your collarbone here. So right under the collarbones, right in here and there. You can also do foot tapping. So one side then the other, one side then the other, one side then the other. Okay, so you can do that, tap your feet. And the last one that you could do is theoretically, you could do eye movement. And you can just look from side to side. right leg, right leg, left leg, or you can go like find two spots on the wall, but I honestly, I really like just tapping. Love for that. So the next thing that I want to let you know, so go ahead and practice that for just a moment. Tap, 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 without trying to change anything or do anything or have any agenda with it, just notice what it feels like, get in the practice of doing that, okay? So that can be super helpful for you and your kids whenever you're having big emotions. So I just want to give you that as a tool. It's really calming to do that. And then, so to get into the actual practice today, we're going to be doing first an affirmation. We're going to set an intention for ourselves. And the intention is, so first we are going to set an intention. And the intention that we're going to set today is I'm here to release guilt and to free up space for my own self-compassion, right? Or something along those lines. I'm here to release guilt and free space for my own compassion, right? That's our intention for today, is just allowing for us to be compassionate towards ourselves and releasing the guilt of not being able to be a perfect mother all the time, all right? And we're going to combine this intention with our breath and the bilateral stimulation, okay? So we're going to hold together this intention of I'm here to release guilt and be compassionate with our tapping. And we're going to hold those things together and we're just going to breathe and take a nice deep breath in first. Feel free to close your eyes. I'm free to release guilt and free up space for self-compassion. I'm here to release guilt and free up space for self-compassion. And we're going to repeat that one more time. We're going to repeat it and then have a nice big breath right afterwards. I'm here to release guilt and free up space for self-compassion. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and allow that to just go all through the whole body. And then exhaling, releasing any guilt with that exhale. And we're going to do that just a few more times. So inhaling all of this self-compassion, allowing it to go to every single cell of your body. And then exhaling anything we're feeling guilty about. You don't have to have anything consciously in your mind. It can just be whatever you need to release right now. And let's do that one more time. I'm here to release guilt and to free up space for self-compassion. Feel free to just take a moment to stop, pause tapping, and feel free to just rub that feeling right into your heart center. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that we've got it all together, that our system is not made for us. It's not made for real humans, and especially not for real women who are menstruating and cycling and have these big shifts and changes. It's not made for men who cycle, even though they do match up with that 24-hour cycle. It's not made for them to follow the seasons as well, right? We are living outside of what our times should be, right? With all of the artificial light, with all of the random calendar settings, with the night scrolling, all of those things, with having to go to work and be the same person throughout our whole cycle, which is not, it's not true. That's not who we are, right? And so I just want to take a moment to allow this compassion to set in, to hold it here, and to allow this space, or allow you to take up space here and to just pause for a moment. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything different. Just meet this space with you. And I want you to take a moment, if you are feeling resistance, to find where you're feeling resistance in your body, right? Where are you feeling resistance? Where are you feeling this mom guilt that's still sticking around, okay? And I want you to turn your inner eye toward that space, whether it's in your gut, your shoulder, your fists, does not matter, wherever it's at in your head. wherever you're feeling resistance coming up, whether it's in your head or your stomach or your shoulders or wherever, it doesn't matter. I want you to take your inner eye and turn towards that space. And I want you to say to that space, it's okay for you to be here just the way you are right now. It's okay for you to be just the way you are right now. There's nothing you need to do to change. You're welcome here. This feeling is welcome. And just take a few breaths here. Because as you turn towards things, often what ends up happening is that energy just naturally shifts on its own. And if you can't do that right now, and if this is not the thing that's going to work for you at this moment, that's okay. It's okay. You are allowed to be here right now in that space. You can take a break. It's okay. No big deal. So I want you to check back in with how you're feeling. Did any tenderness come up? Did any tears come up? Did any feelings, thoughts, emotions come up? Feel free to journal about them. Write them out for yourself. Keep track of that because that's super helpful information for you. Did you feel tension in your shoulders? Did you feel this like anxiety in your gut? Did you feel tension in your neck or your throat? Pay attention to those kinds of things, right? And then the last thing I want to just say for today is just to express my gratitude for you being willing to step into that space with me, to be aware and curious and compassionate with yourself, even with something as big as mom guilt that we struggle with on a often daily basis, right? So take a moment to just pat yourself on the back. Feel free. This is another form of like bilateral stimulation that you can do, is just give yourself a few hugs. You can rub up and down on your arms. This helps us release oxytocin, and oxytocin is the bonding hormone, which especially for women is really helpful for cutting out our stress response and lowering cortisol levels. So if that feels good to you, you can do some of these arm wraps, or you can just hold yourself. I've heard under your right side, like hold your armpit almost, and then give yourself a big hug like that, and just feel free to, like, I imagine like holding my little self and just, oh, you're so amazing, thank you, and sending some love right into your own body and your own being. So that is it for today. I have one last thing for you tomorrow, and I'm so excited that you're on this journey with me. Keep an eye out because I want to send you home with another offer, something special for you to go through and practice, so that way you can continue to shift your nervous system. So I hope you enjoyed these practices. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out and let me know. If you want to share your experience with me, feel free to DM me at altheafarah.com, at altheafarah, and I will definitely DM you back. So it's been fantastic practicing with you. If you have any questions, if you missed anything, go back to the days before, look up 5-minute self-care reset. Hopefully that'll populate into your emails. And make sure you save these for later. All right, it was great working with you. Thank you so much, Mama. You're doing amazing. I see you and I see all the hard work you're doing. Much love. Bye.